As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
This is a story about FTX. FTX in the news. And the headline here is crypto giant FTX in talks to invest in Indian gaming startup MPL. For those who don't know, MPL is India's mobile premier league. They're in talks to raise capital from a number of investors, including FTX, which is a crypto exchange. And MPL operates more than 60 mobile games, card-based games, sports-based games, fantasy games. They plan to launch play-to-earn and NFT-based games later this year. And, FTX has been incredibly active at investing in gaming companies. They've made one big investment very recently. A couple of weeks ago, they acquired a company, Good Luck Games, 2 weeks ago now. And MPL has like Sequoia India in there as an investor. So, FTX, not surprisingly, would be interested here. And, India, obviously a very interesting geography from a growth of gaming standpoint. What do you guys think of, in general, FTX's sort of buying spree around gaming startups, and here buying what is essentially like a mobile esports league, which in North America we don't see a lot of, but in India, when you have 100 million players, just on like a PUBG or something like that, this is an interesting market for mobile leagues. Ben, I don't know if you have thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, FTX they're going ham, right? I mean, we have TSM FTX now, that huge partnership with Team Solomid, and now the MPL. I mean, they're really making a land grab here. I think it's still, like, we know, and it is a good transition to some data we'll look at in a moment of, crypto interest among esports fans and gamers is, I wouldn't say through the roof, but they really highly over-index for being interested in cryptos compared to their peers. And FTX, clearly they found that insight on their own and they're leaning all the way in. That said, I was just looking in the background here at some of our tools. We track FTX in our YouGov brand tracker, and among gamers and esports fans, their awareness is way higher, but it's not growing. Like over the last, and I only have 4 months of data, but it's enough time to start to see a trend, and this is around the time they've been making these big announcements. It's flat and maybe even declined a little bit over the past month. So, again, this can bounce back. That's only in the US, so can't speak for globally. Crypto in India and other parts of Eastern Hemisphere have it's been around longer. It's got much more adoption, and so I think this makes sense for them for India if that's the next market they're really looking to grow.
I mean, it's interesting, Ben. I'm curious if you look at the other crypto companies in your brand tracker. Are they all following similar curves? Because the crypto companies realize the gaming opportunity is massive, right? I think they all know this. Right. Reaching gamers effectively is a whole different, ball game and a whole different challenge. And, probably some will succeed more than others. But maybe this is part of why there's a bit of a wall, right? Where some of them have hit a wall and you need something to take you to that next level to reach those audiences. I'd be curious if, they've consistently across the board, whether it's Coinbase or Binance or where, any of these crypto companies have all hit similar walls. Lindsay or Jimmy, before we get into that, Ben, Lindsay or Jimmy, do you have any comments on this specifically?
I've been bullish on India in particular for a while now. I think mobile is the way to go there. And we've seen also how mobile leads into PC gaming and console gaming as a gateway drug, so to speak. We've talked, I think, a lot about the Indian region, PUBG in particular, think. I can't remember if we had some Green or Free Fire stories coming out of there as well, but it's definitely a region where you see a lot of innovation, you see a lot of engineering, and a lot, I think, of new companies coming up, approaching the gaming industry with a mobile first perspective, which again is probably the largest and fastest and cheapest way to reach new users, to reach younger gamers. And so when you see a name like FTX jump into India, that just makes me super happy because I've been wanting to do stuff there for about 3 years now. And then to Ben's point about I mean, just the great things that FTX is doing, not just with TSM or in gaming, but even outside of gaming and traditional sports, investing in some of the greatest sports properties like the Heat, like Mercedes F1. Shout out to Lindsay on that. I think here at least, or at least my personal opinion, I'm a big fan of FTX in general. I love that they're getting deeper into gaming and now, excuse me, deeper into gaming. And I love that now they're getting, or rather, they're increasing their global presence and perspective because gaming is not a regional thing limited to North America or the EU or Latin, right? It's all these different places. They have different communities. There's just so much value to look into other regions to get there early and to really dominate from a brand perspective. So I have nothing but great things to say about this.